Why do some retirees with millions of dollars run out of money while others with the same amount leave fortunes to their families? It's not about how much they save, how conservative they are, or even what their average returns are. It's about something called sequence of returns risk. And it's probably the biggest threat to your retirement that nobody's talking about. It's not just about how much your investments return over time. It's about when those returns happen. I'm Bob Wolfe, certified financial planner and IRS enrolled agent. Before we go any further, everything that I'm sharing today is strictly educational and should not be interpreted as a specific financial advice. Your situation is unique and you should always consult with qualified professionals before making financial decisions. With that being said, let's get right into it. What is sequence of return risk? Here's the thing that most people don't understand about retirement planning. It's not just about what your investments return over time. It's about when those investments returns happen. And this is a timing issue that becomes absolutely critical when you're withdrawing money from your portfolio. Let me explain this with a real scenario I've seen play out. Sequence of return risk is what happens when you get poor market performance early in retirement while you're taking distributions, and arguably more distributions before Social Security kicks in oftentimes. It can permanently damage your portfolio in a way that almost impossible to recover from, even if the market eventually bounces back, if you're not properly positioned. Let me show you exactly how this works with real market data. I want you to imagine two retirees. Let's call them Alex and Jamie. Both retire at 65 with exactly $1 million. Both plan to withdraw $50,000 per year, adjusted for inflation. Both invest in portfolios that average 6% returns over the next 20 years. Here's where things get interesting and equally terrifying. Alex retires in January 2020. What happens next? The dot-com crash hits immediately. The S&P 500 drops 9.1% in 2000, another 11.9% in 2001, and then gets crushed with a 22.1% loss in 2002. Meanwhile, Alex still needs $50,000 each year to live on, and so they're selling shares at the worst possible time when they're on sale. Jamie retires in March 2009, right after the financial crisis bottomed out. The market immediately begins one of the strongest bull runs in history. 26.5% in 2009, 15.1% in 2010, and it just keeps going. Now here's what will absolutely blow your mind. Both portfolios average exactly 6% over the next 20 years. Same average return. But by age 85, Alex has completely run out of money, while Jamie still has over $1.3 million, more than she started with. This isn't some made up example. This is exactly what happened to real retirees based on actual market data. Same strategy, same returns, completely different outcomes. Why this matters right now. Look, the stakes couldn't be higher right now. We're dealing with inflation concerns, geopolitical tension. We no longer have nearly as much pension income as we otherwise would have. People are questioning the stability of the Social Security fund. And this is going to be the piece that makes it that much more important for us to focus on shielding our nest egg from some of these sequence of returns risk earlier on in retirement than ever before. If you're retiring soon or recently retired, you're in what I call the retirement danger zone. Those critical 5 to 10 years after your retirement date when sequence of return risk can do the most damage. But here's what those who are preparing properly for this risk are doing. They don't just hope for good sequence risk luck. They build specific strategies to protect against bad sequence luck. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you. The war chest framework. It's an approach that I developed after seeing too many clients get crushed by sequence risk, and it's based on strategies that the wealthy have used for decades. The framework has two core principles that most individuals get backwards. Number one, we start with liabilities, not headlines. Before we even talk about market returns or asset allocation, we need to map out every dollar you'll need as a withdrawal from your portfolio and when you'll need it. I'm talking about tax bills, healthcare costs, basic living expenses, everything. This liability matching exercises sets your risk budget before the market gets to vote. Most people do this backwards. They look at market projections and then hope their expenses fit. That's like planning a road trip by looking at gas prices instead of figuring out where you're actually going. Number two, we start to build out a 7-year war chest. Now, why 7 years? Here's what the data shows. Most market downturns, even severe ones like 2008 or early 2000s, recover within about 5 to 7 years. By having this war chest, you never have to sell stocks during a crash. You can sit back, collect your bond interest, and wait for your equity investments to recover. So real world application here and how this would have saved Alex. Let's go back to our friend Alex who retired in 2000. With a traditional 60% stock, 40% bond portfolio, and the standard 4% withdrawal rate, Alex was forced to sell investments at a massive loss during the dot-com crash and never recovered. But here's what would have happened with the war chest approach. In 2000, when the market started tanking, Alex would have calmly used cash reserves, no selling stocks at a loss. In 2001 and 2002, Alex moves to the bond ladder. Still, no stock sales during the crash. By 2003, 2004, when the market started recovering, Alex's equity portfolio was intact and ready to participate in the recovery. The result? Instead of running out of money, Alex would have preserved wealth and potentially left a legacy. Now, let's go beyond the war chest approach and the advanced strategies that are used with the wealthy. The war chest is just your foundation, but here are 3 additional strategies that can further protect against sequence risk. Number 1, instead of taking the same amount of withdrawals from your portfolio every year with your tunnel vision up, regardless of where market conditions are, we may recommend adjusting withdrawals based off of the portfolio performance. When markets are down 20%, maybe we elect to tighten the belt and withdraw 10% less. Maybe we don't give as much to the family, charities, or go on as many vacations that year. When markets are up 25%, this will allow you to take extra for the vacation that you've been planning. Doing something as simple as this has statistically proven with studies to show that you will be able to take that much more over time as long as you have a dynamic and a flexible withdrawal strategy, which necessitates that you have some margin and some cushion in your discretionary budget and not everything is going to fixed and mandatory expenses. Number 2 is having some level of guaranteed income floor. Social Security is going to be the bedrock that actually increases with the cost of goods over time, which is fantastic. The other piece that we have here, albeit a lot less, is pensions. Those generally do not increase with the cost of inflation, which means your pension when you're 60 years old is going to be worth a hell of a lot more than when you're 70, 80, 90 years old. In any event, these are great to have as a fundamental baseline need to becoming our bare necessities. Certain types of annuities, and I'm very selective about which ones, can also provide income floors that aren't subject to market risk, very similar to pensions. The key is to use them strategically and not as your entire retirement plan. Another strategy here is considering strategic Roth conversion ladders. This is something that most people miss, and market downturns are an incredible opportunity for us to squeeze some lemonade out of the lemons that the market has given us by shifting funds from a never taxed yet account that is a traditional account over into a Roth account by paying taxes this year on a subdued balance. This is something that you absolutely need to run the numbers on and how it impacts your after-tax experience over time, but I had somebody who converted $500,000 to Roth during the 2020 crash when the portfolio was down. That money recovered tax-free, and now they have an incredible flexibility in their withdrawal strategy because not only was that amount now tax-free, but all of the growth on it for the future years and the future generations, if it gets to that point, never have to worry about taxes. Look, sequence of return risk is real, and it's probably the biggest threat to your retirement that nobody talks about. But here's what I want you to understand. It doesn't have to derail your retirement dreams. By implementing the war chest framework and these supporting strategies, you can dramatically increase your odds of retirement success regardless of what the market does in those critical early years. The wealthy understand this, which is why they build specific protections against sequence risk rather than just hoping for the best. If this video helped you understand sequence risk and how to protect against it, hit that like button and subscribe for more strategies that the top 1% use to protect and grow their wealth.